We've been patient, boys and girls. Now it's finally an Edmonton Oilers game day. Let's get to it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Better Lait Than Never. Shit. All right, I don't care about the intro. We got stuff to do. It is an Oilers game day. It's season opener day. So we got plenty to talk about. I want to keep this one short because tomorrow I'm going to be doing a voicemail episode. The squad, let me tell you, had a lot to say this past week, and I'm going to get to all of those tomorrow. Look at ballparking. We probably got about 40, 50 voicemails that have come in. I imagine more are going to come in after this episode goes out, and that the voicemails are going to kick off tomorrow. So we've got a lot to get to, very little time. I'm actually on a time constraint today. I've got 1 hour exactly until I've got a meeting to jump into. So let's get right to it and shout out the audio department for being the title sponsor. Of course, the audio department works to create a safe space for creativity and collaboration for artists and musicians to realize their potential and share their message through sound and story. Visit them at theaudiodepartment.ca. They will help you sound as good as I do right now. Got it? Good. Theaudiodepartment.ca. I have got a couple of just little housekeeping notes that we have to get through before, getting into some of the Oilers talk. I'm very, very excited. Very excited. I am going to the game tonight. I've only ever been to one season opener before. And I'm pretty sure... By the way, if I hit the cough button a bunch today, is I've got something like in my lungs, it feels like, that's just kind of lingering. I feel good, but there's like this kind of like, you know what I mean? Do you ever have that? And considering that I spend a good chunk of my day talking into a microphone for a living, not ideal. So if I just kind of disappear for a minute and it goes blank, that's what it is. So anyway, I've never been to a banner raising ceremony before, although my guy Avery seemed to have spoiled it. He sent a video of the banner already being hung up at Rogers Place in the rafters. Maybe they're just not doing much about it. Though I did get an email from the Oilers saying, be in your seats by 7:40 tonight. So 7:40, and then Jack Michaels says puck drop is at 8:17 p.m. So we've got, from 8:45 till 8:17, we got some kind of pregame shenanigans going on. I imagine it'll be the skate out. I imagine they'll acknowledge the banner, although it's not the one we wanted. This is just the appetizer as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. We have a Western Conference Champs banner up. Not super pumped on celebrating it. Maybe that's how the boys feel, and I don't blame them at all. It's just like when they won the Western Conference final in the first place. Nobody touched the trophy. Nobody cares. Job's not done. Right? Of course. But anyway, I'm excited to go back to Rogers Place. My first time there since... Game 3? They lost that game. I didn't go to game 4 or game 6. So yeah, first time at Rogers Place since game 3. I didn't go to any concerts this summer, did I? Not at Rogers Place anyway. Anyway, my first time back there since the thing happened. So I'm excited about it. I'm really, really looking forward to it. That's why I'm trying to do a quick one today. I want to talk more about the game tomorrow. So you're going to get 2 episodes of BLTN from me this week. Maybe then we'll have some time to talk about Love is Blind. Started a new season. I'm digging into it. Couples are funny. Some are awful. Some are annoying. If you watch the show, you know how it is. But at the end of the day, it is a good programming for someone like moi, who just wants to shut your brain off from time to time. If you want to feel very moronic and dumb, you watch these shows. That's the point of it, all right? The other thing I did this week is I'm not a big Lego guy. Never was. Never have been. But my boy, Big Dave Quadrelli loves Lego.
That's me. I love Lego.
He's a Lego guy, and every now and then he goes, hey, check out this thing I built or whatever. And he says it kind of is a good way to shut your brain off and just have like a singular task. So once upon a time, I bought myself a little Lamborghini Countach. It was a 200 plus piece little thingy. I built it. And the nice part about it was I'm not a huge Lego guy, as I mentioned just 2 seconds ago, but it did do a good job of shutting my brain off. And I don't know if you, in your life, personal life, family, work, whatever, have stresses and need to kind of have that shut off period. I certainly do. So I went and bought myself a Spider-Man. He is 258 pieces. I'm looking forward to shutting my brain off for an hour or two or however long it takes me to build that thing over probably this weekend at some point, But for today, all my mind is focused on is the Edmonton Oilers because they take on the Winnipeg Jets tonight. We've got the game notes are now up at Oilers Nation. Cam Lewis wrote those. We've got the GDB. That is the game day preview from Gregor. That's going up here in a little bit. Depends by the time you listen to this. I don't want to talk too much about specifics of tonight's game because there's a good chance by the time you listen to this, the game's already over. What am I predicting for a score? I think I'm changing the bit this year. If you've been paying attention, I said 4-2 wins for the last 6 years. Every single game. So this year, I think I'm gonna do something a little bit different. This year, I think I'm gonna do Oilers blowouts in every game, 6, 7, 8-1 finishes. I'm gonna see how long it takes people to get mad about that. But since you listen to this podcast, I'm looping you in on that shenanigans right now. Okay. Over the course of the weekend, I finished and watched all of the Amazon Prime documentary about the NHL from last season. Really, really well done. I wish the NHL would have more of this stuff coming, and I hope they do, because I'm guessing this was a pretty successful kind of foray into a behind-the-scenes thing. Obviously, when I got to the Oilers episodes 5 and 6 in that series, ruined my weekend. I couldn't even enjoy the fact that the Minnesota Vikings are now 5-0. Woo! Should I get credit for them being 5-0? I do bring a winning spirit. I do bring excellent vibes to the table. So anyway, I watched the Amazon Prime documentary and it was really well done, taking you behind the scenes as much as it was heartbreaking to relive the finals and how it played out. Seeing the team and how close they are together and just seeing everybody interact and hearing Leon Draisaitl, you know what? Spoilers, if you haven't watched it, skip ahead 30 seconds. But you know what? I can talk about it without spoiling anything. So just seeing those guys be as close as they are, hearing Leon say nice things about Edmonton, now with hindsight, knowing he was going to sign an 8-year extension, everything about it was wonderful. As much as I hated the result, that is just good content. And I really, really hope the NHL continues to do this because it showed us a side of players that we've never seen before. Everybody's seen the fucking dig in right now clip from Connor. And when you get the full context of it, it's so much more impactful. I love him even more than I did before. And I didn't know that was possible. To his parents, they're also in there. You may have some competition for who loves your son more. You may think it's you, but it might be me. The other thing I want to mention before we get into the news here is that Nation Beer is coming back. That might have been too many. Nation Beer still around. Nation Beer is coming back. We have partnered up with Odd Company Brewing. We are going to be launching. Go check out my socials. Hi, my name is Bagmilk on Instagram. I'm sharing some of the videos in my stories. Go check those out. We are going to have beers in your hands this season. Once again, Nation Beer is coming back. I couldn't be more excited about it. I love Nation Beer. And the fact that we get to do it with Odd Company, which is a great little watering hole here in the city. Anyway, if you haven't been to Odd Company, you should just go in general. They have got all kinds of delicious options for you. And having them make our new Nation Beer is very exciting. I got a chance to try it. It is so good. You are going to love it. I promise you that. So keep an eye out to all of our socials. We're going to have that coming for you very, very soon. Some details on how to get it, that is. The other thing I want to mention before we get to the news is the season opener party this year is on the 17th. That's the first away game the Oilers play, so we're doing it then. We got the boys in town. You might be going to the game. You might not have time to do it. So we're giving you a little bit of notice. October 17th at Greta downtown. Tickets are available at nationgear.ca. You need a ticket to get into this one. We're trying to raise a little bit of money. That is kind of the way these things go. So go get your tickets now. That baby is going to sell out. Again, that is the 17th of October, which is next Thursday. 8 days from right now, next Thursday. Why not kick off your weekend a little early? I say you do it. I say you do it and you join us. We watch the Oilers play. NationGear.ca is where you get your tickets to the season opener party. I will be there. I would love to meet you if you're that voicemailer that comes to our events and doesn't ever want to meet me, that's cool too. I'm very disappointing. But if you do decide you want to have a chat, I will be there. And I'm looking forward to getting everybody back together at Greta again. It is always the best times when we're able to get together. But now we got business to attend to because I'm racing the clock. I've got meetings. I've got big boy shenanigans to do. And that means I got to get to the news. We're going to start right now. The news is brought to you by Star Mechanical. Of course, Star Mechanical is one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years, and many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. What I need you to do is pop on over to starmechanical.ca, book an appointment, and help them help you keep your home running smoothly. Listen, the weather's changing. Could be time to get your furnace a little service. Our friends at Star Mechanical will be able to do that for you. I just got a text message from the friends at Sherwood Ford. They have finished with my vehicle today. Just getting a little oil change and a tire rotation. Pop that over to Sherwood Ford. They're good people. Looking forward to getting my whip back. I'm very excited about tonight. I do need a car to get downtown. Thankfully, Sherwood Ford is going to be bringing that back. I'm starting the news with arguably what I think is one of the funnier stories that we've had in the NHL recently. Raphael Lavoie. He was waived by the Oilers with the intention of sending him down to the Bakersfield Condors, right? I think Raphael Lavoie is a player who a lot of us think he's kind of on the bubble, right? He could be playing in the NHL, but having him start in Bakersfield, in my opinion, is not the worst thing that could ever have happened. So the Oilers waived him with the intention of having him go down to Bakersfield and starting his season with the Condors. The problem, of course, was that the Vegas Golden Knights claimed him off waivers the next day, making Lavoie a Golden Knight for, 24 hours. And the problem was Lavoie didn't crack their NHL roster. So they, in turn, had to put him back on waivers to send him down to Henderson Silver Knights. That is their AHL team. This morning, just before I started recording, probably about 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, Raphael Lavoie was reclaimed by the Edmonton Oilers. And I think that's hilarious. I think it is very, very funny. So here's the rule, and I'm probably going to screw this up. We talked about it on Oilers Nation Radio. By the way, ONR is back to 2 a week. So those are going to be Tuesdays and Fridays again. We talked about this on ONR yesterday on our big predictions episode. Had somebody else put in a claim on Lavoie, the Oilers would have had to do a little cap dancing because they would have had to keep him on the NHL roster. But since nobody else put a claim in on Lavoie today, he has cleared and he is able to go back down to Bakersfield where he was supposed to go. My question is, where was he the whole time? I assume, I do not know. I assume he was still here at Edmonton and hadn't actually left anywhere until he got some clarity on what was actually happening in his life. Now he knows. He's going back to the Bakersfield Condors. I just think it's hilarious. Also, eat shit, Vegas. You guys have a free pass or seem to get a free pass from the league on most things. So to have you claim our guy and us take him right back from you, I find it to be very funny and I love it. Raphael Lavoie is a key piece of the depth chart. We don't have many skilled prospects. I'm going to just go ahead and tell it like it is. So having him within the system still, or I guess back in the system, is just good news. I also think it's funny. Also, more importantly, as I mentioned, fuck Vegas forever. You guys are annoying. Yeah! Right? Of course. Here's what I think of Vegas. I'm gonna load my gun. There. Just put you on warning, right? I'm just gonna put you on warning. The other thing that happened yesterday, but officially kind of hit the books today, Travis Dermott was signed to a 1-year, 2-way contract worth $775,000. He came into town on a professional tryout, played as best as he possibly could, and he earned himself a contract. So I think that is good. He has got over 300 games played. He's been in the league. This will be his 7th season. And I think he gives the Oilers some skilled depth on D. Is it the ideal scenario? I hear you rolling your eyes into the back of your head as I'm talking. No, it's not the ideal scenario, but they do give themselves a little bit of depth on D, and they've got a guy who has played in the league before. Played 50 games with the Arizona Coyotes last year. By the way, Utah won their inaugural game last night, so good for Utah. Seems like people had a good time in there. Hopefully you didn't sit in those seats where you can't see anything, but it seems like the people on TV were having a good time. So Travis Dermott will be playing tonight over Troy Stetcher, which I find interesting. He will be paired with Brett Kulak on the third pairing, playing on his off side. Part of the nice thing of part of Travis Dermott's skill set is that he can play both sides. Is that the ideal scenario? Again, no. But when you look at the other options, Troy Stetcher, I actually don't mind in that spot. I think he's probably a stopgap at, if we really had it our way, he's probably a stopgap in that spot. But I also don't mind it. I'm just glad that Josh Brown isn't there. He got waived earlier in the week, which I'm just dumbfounded by. I don't understand it. He got a 3-year contract somehow. And I know it's only $1 million, so you can always bury it, but it's still a spot on the 50-man contract list. So it's not like it's completely like, meh, who cares? I don't think it is. I think there's a little bit more to it than that. And I think it's interesting that a guy that they gave a 3-year deal to got waived right out of camp. Surely somebody in the Oilers organization, one, needs to get a talking to. Jeff Jackson, is that you? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Somebody's got to get a talking to. And two, why the 3-year deal? Did you think you were signing Connor Brown to a 3-year, $1 million contract? Is that who you thought you were signing and you signed Josh Brown instead of Connor Brown and Connor Brown only got a 1-year? I don't know. These are just things that roll around in my head sometimes. Either way, Josh Brown has been waived. Nobody claimed him. He's starting the season in the Condors. Good thing he's got a 3-year deal, though. You might have to be buying some lunches. The other big thing that happened is the Oilers added Evander Kane to the LTIR. The Oilers called up Matthew Savoy and signed Cameron Wright for $952,000. When Wright was registered, that means the Oilers have $53 of cap space. They will then put Kane on the LTIR, which they did, and have a capture $53 from Optimal. They can send players down on Wednesday and accrue cap space less $53. Having Kane on the LTIR to capture, they are allowed to exceed the cap by $5.125 million less the 53. They can then send down Savoy and Wright to the Bakersfield Condors. Dermott was signed, and then they can accrue cap space. What does that mean, you might ask yourself? I have no idea. Could not tell you. I'm not smart enough. Anything to do with math should not come through this guy's mouth. That's what I know. I know what I don't know. That's what I'm good at. And what I don't know is how the cap works. At all. So, good news on Oilers Nation every day. Yesterday, that was Tuesday the 8th, Tyler had Hart from Puckpedia on. He's the founder of Puckpedia. And he was trying to walk us through it and teach the gang how this stuff actually works. Again, I'm very stupid. I know that about myself. If I don't have my my calculator. By the way, remember when your teachers told you when you were in elementary or in high school, you're never going to have a calculator growing up. You got to learn your multiplication tables and fractions and all that garbage. You don't need that. If you are currently in school right now, if you were young and you were listening to this, you were always going to have a calculator. There's one right on your phone, bro or lady. Don't listen to them. Learn your multiplication tables and how fractions work. Those are going to fall out of your head by the time you're 39. Let me promise you that. But in the interim, they're good to have. Anyway, here's the clip from Hart on Oilers Nation Every Day with Tyler and Liam. It is about 1 minute and 20 seconds long. So I'm going to play it through. Hopefully we can learn something.
Let's say we get to deadline day and the Oilers have been accruing all year and they have like $4 million in accrued cap space. They can acquire a player and then put Kane on LTIR and have access to basically his whole cap hit to acquire a player?
Yeah, well, basically, Kane will already be on LTIR, right? So once they set him on LTIR, he's an LTIR player. So that means whenever they are going to exceed the cap, now all of a sudden they're in LTIR and not accruing space. So yeah, they probably do it in 2 steps. Like they accrue all the space as much as they can, do a transaction, use up sort of like the accrued space, and then go back into actually using LTIR, and they could potentially have Kane. But again, if Kane's going to come back during the season, that doesn't really help them because they'd have to clear that space for when he is back. So really, I think this is kind of like an insurance policy, right? It's setting it up in case, first of all, let's just say they get a rash of injuries next month and they need to call guys up. They have a pretty good capture already for LTIR. And then also, let's say he has some setbacks and he's not going to be back during the regular season, then boom, now they have this extra cap space that they can use and go and get it. So I would say this is setting their LTIR pool and having it kind of, if needed, break glass in case of emergency.
I don't know what any of that meant. The way Hart says it, though, it sounds very simple, but to me, I don't understand any of it. So I'm confused. However, sounds good to me. If you know what's happening, please let me know. Leave a voicemail for tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Changing gears entirely, I want to give some love to Noah Philp. He did get cut from the team from the opening night roster, but I feel it in my bones. This dude is not going to be in Bakersfield long. He is going to be back with the Oilers. I would even guess before Christmas. What that means for Derek Ryan, beyond me. That is not in my pay grade. I don't make these decisions. If Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman want to ask me for advice, I will happily give it to him. My consulting fee is very reasonable. But my guess is, my gut tells me that Noah Philp will be back by around Christmas. He just played so well. He looked really good. He didn't look out of place. And for a guy who didn't even play last year, I'm very, very impressed with him. I really, really am. And I think he's going to be good. He's big. He's fast. He's got some skill. He's right-handed. He wins faceoffs. You know how I love faceoffs.
My guy won't shut up about faceoffs. You know he loves faceoffs.
So I think Noah Philp will be back. In other news, the Erie Otters are going to be retiring Connor McDavid's number. Of course, that's where he played junior. He played for Chris Knobloch in junior, and they will be retiring his number. Understandably so. He is the best player on the planet. A nice little gesture from his junior team. I'm sure he appreciates that. The other thing that happened yesterday was the season officially got going outside of the European games. Philip Broberg scored for the Blues yesterday, and Dylan Holloway got an assist on the goal. That kind of sent Twitter into a weird space yesterday, but then you're looking at the numbers, you're like, well, I mean, they lost, right? I think they did. I stopped watching. St. Louis Blues. Boy, will I feel like a goose if that... Oh, no, they did. They won. They won yesterday. They were losing when I was watching the game at the office. Anyway, so they lost, or they won, I should say. Philip Broberg ended up getting a goal and an assist, though the analytics did say that he was getting carved in. Whether that matters, I don't know. Anyway, I just think it's kind of a funny thing that Broberg scored the Blues' first goal of the season and Holloway got an assist. I think it was funny. If you are... if you don't like getting chirped for that kind of stuff, my recommendation is to ignore social media sometimes. You know? The last thing I want to mention before we move on from the news, Sam Gagner was officially released from his professional tryout with the Hurricanes. He is a free agent, and we will be watching where Sam goes because I love him. I hope he finds a job in the league. He's a good dude. Come back to us in an advisor capacity if you don't find a gig or even a two-way contract. Go down to the Condors. Be a big brother down there for a lot of our skilled prospects. You're still good at the AHL level, Sam. I just don't know that the boots can keep you in the NHL. I love you so, so much, though. Please come back to us in some capacity. Good? Of course. And that's where we're going to wrap up the news for Star Mechanical. Star Mechanical is one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years. Many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. Visit them at Star Mechanical today to schedule an appointment and help them help you keep your home running smoothly.
You're listening to Better Lait Than Haggis, your podcast for all of Scotland's needs. Scotland food. We do some haggis. Come on. Play Scotland. Better late than haggis. Right?
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
For my friends at Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, it is time for the Righteous Sack Beating. Got a couple of guest Righteous Sack Beatings today, and, well, they get a little spicy. So we're going to see what happens or what the fallout is from today. But Trilogy Oilfield Rentals are an established provider of tools and expertise across multiple oilfield disciplines, specializing in rentals, pipe recovery, abandonments, and completions. Currently, they maintain full-time operating units in Provost, Weyburn, and Kindersley. What kind of tools do they have? Well, happy to tell you. Rental tools, fishing tools, coil tools, drilling tools, mills and bits, completion tools, any tools for any job. TrilogyRentals.ca. I'm feeling pretty good because I got to go to an Oilers game tonight, so I don't really have a whole lot bothering me. I kind of vented a bunch of stuff last week. I appealed my WestJet flight delay ruling. Still haven't heard back from them. I do not expect much because they seem to just want to fuck their customers anytime they can. The moving company, no movement. They're garbage. So those are the updates on last week's RSBs. Today we've got a couple of guest RSBs. One is very funny because it came to me via anonymous email. You could tell there was, this person he's just out in the ether, he or she, out in the ether. Don't know who it is, but I will read it, or I guess Satan is going to read that one. But first we've got a guest RSB coming in from Dukes.
All right. I want to give a bit of a fuck you to a few things, if you'll allow me the privilege. First of all, that Australian last week who called in was like, "Oh, I've got this important blah blah. I got to separate my nation personality from." No one gives a fuck, mate. No one at your work is listening to this shit. Shut the fuck up. Don't use this voicemail as an excuse to brag about your job title that no one gives a fuck about. You're a loser. Secondly, there was another point that I've forgotten about at the moment, so I'll riff for 10 seconds. If I can't think of it, I'll just end the voicemail. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, that's not 10 seconds, but I'm going to end the voicemail.
Well, Dukes, that voicemail is, or that RSB, I guess, is even funnier considering the anonymous one that came in. Listen, beef sells records. This is my podcast. So there's been some beef in the voicemail before. You know, I think of Presto took a lot of shit in the early days. This voicemail came in, so I'm going to give him this email came in. So I'm going to give the button, and then Satan is going to read this. Okay?
You want to see a man?
Why did that happen? Okay. Make adjustments. Be calm. Be calm. You can do this. There we go.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
I repeat, this is an anonymous message that came in. I do have receipts on it. If anybody wants to think that I've got fuckery afoot. However, well, it's a little spicy, so Satan's going to read it. Definitely not me.
Let me preface this by saying it's your podcast, and my opinion is worth peanuts. However, Dukes is the absolute worst. He constantly leaves a million fucking pointless voicemails that aren't funny, they aren't insightful, and they don't add anything of value. He appears to be trying too hard to hijack your podcast. I've even begun skipping over the entire voicemail sections of the pod for no other reason than I hate hearing Dukes ramble on endlessly about absolutely nothing. Again, this is your podcast and you should do what you want. If you care to hear my opinion, it's that you should start limiting people to one voicemail a week and only 90 seconds. Also, why does he get to call out everyone else, but no one is allowed to tell him he sucks? Ari, Ben, Nick, hell, even Zol the Will of Thousands at least brings something of value to the podcast. Anyways, love you, BM.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
Dukes, you're getting called out. So when I get feedback like this, number one, first of all, I actually take it seriously. It's not just like I'm going to read it and make content out of it, even though I just did. It is something to think about. I think about the voicemail a lot, right? Like I mentioned sometimes that if you're boring me, I'm going to skip you. And I think I have to do a better job of thinking about you, the listener, sometimes. Because as much as I enjoy Dukes' voicemails, they make me laugh. When he rambles about nothing in particular, I quite enjoy it. So I keep playing them. However, I think it is fair that I got to think about the audience a little bit more. I've got big goals for this podcast, and I don't know that I want to limit to people to one a week. Sometimes when I'm really light in a week in the voicemail section, like there's a handful that they just need to come in, and I just got to get through them. But what I think I need to do is, if we're rambling, just skip a little bit more. And if we can all agree that there's the thing in my throat and my lungs. If we can all agree that I'm not doing it maliciously, just that we got to move things along, that might be the approach here. But I don't want to cut people off at one a week. I don't want to cut them off at only 90 seconds. But maybe I should stop doing the 3 or 4 parters, if that makes sense. Because then essentially, if it's a 4-parter, which does happen at times, you've got 6, 8, 9 minutes of just one person's take on whatever. Maybe I should get rid of those. Maybe we should just kind of agree that if you got a point, you got 90 seconds to make it, and then we move on to the next topic. Maybe. Something to consider. It's something I'll think about anyway. But Duke's taking a little shrapnel in the voicemail. Kind of hilarious that it came in after a RSB. Again, his voicemail was labeled RSB. That didn't really have a complaint about much of anything. See, and like, even that's funny to me. Even that is funny to me. We're trying our best out here, you know? We are trying our best out here. But today we're talking about the Oilers. It is season opener day. We are very, very much looking forward to it. We are very, very much in the mix. What I think is another cup season. Is a cup or bust? Maybe. Well, maybe not. But I'm very, very, very much looking forward to it. So I thought, why not just go and read a couple of comments from Twitter to see if people are excited about the game or not, or what they're thinking. So these are the official, this is on the Oilers official account. This isn't on my account. This isn't on the Nation account. Static just says, put me out there. I want to show the Jets a thing or two. Anna says, can't wait. Go Oilers. Clown Around says, a bubblegum organization. What does that mean? Finian says, we're back, baby. Let's go. Pocket Track says, we are so back. Brandon Blaze, he's just got a gif of Hunter. Nugent-Hopkins just says, let's go. Schmitty says, music to my ears. Love you guys. This team made the city so damn proud. Go on and prove the doubters wrong. Let the next chapter begin. That one comes from Defer Oiler. Ty says, okay, but what time is the puck actually dropping at? Is it 8:20? According to Jack Michaels, it's 8:17. Lori says, let's go Oilers. Maverick says 8 p.m., more like 8:30, LeMayo. Right fucking now, let's go Oilers. That's from Rick Diggler. Juan says, lost to Winnipeg 6-1 in the preseason, finished 6th in preseason despite playing 2 more games than other 6 teams. Panthers won their season opener. Wonder what will happen tonight. That one is all over the place. Todd says the Jets really need to get new uniform designs. Should go back to the retro style. Anyway, people are excited. People are trolling. That means sports is back, baby. That means sports is back. Looking ahead at the team schedule for the week. Of course, we got the Winnipeg Jets in town tonight. And then nothing until the weekend. Odd schedule, in my opinion. Tonight is Wednesday. Obviously, they got the Jets in town. Nothing Thursday, nothing Friday. And then you got a back-to-back. Saturday is the Chicago Blackhawks. Sunday is the Calgary Flams. And then Tuesday, they've got the Philadelphia Flyers in town as well. So they are opening up on a 4-game homestand. Odd way to start the season with a back-to-back as games 2 and 3. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about the Oilers monopolizing my whole weekend. Not one bit. Not one bit. I'm excited. I'm excited to be at Rogers Place. I'm excited to have a little peep at the new banner. I wonder if there's another banner that has to come down, allegedly, in my opinion, based on the news and current events. You can go look that up on your own time. You can kind of piece that together if you think about it real hard. Somebody sold out 9 shows. I don't think they should have a banner. Maybe it should come down. Just my opinion. We shall see. course, these are alleged jokes. In my opinion. Anyway, I'm all over the map. I've got a meeting that I got to attend here right away. We did keep it tight, though. I got to say, look at me. I'm proud of myself. Only 35 minutes. I did want to do a short little preview episode. And I'm very excited. I'm predicting a 6-1 Oilers win. I'm predicting the Winnipeg Jets have a long bus ride home. And I'm predicting I will enjoy a double Caesar that my friend Captain Felton has to buy me after the Vikings wiped the floor with his Green Bay Packers. They didn't really wipe the floor. It got closer than it should have been. But the good news is they don't ask how. It just matters that we got that dub. It matters that I get a double Caesar from Captain Felton too, because I know that is a mortgage payment. He just came back from a trip to Monaco, I believe, if I remember correctly. So his bank account, it deserves a little extra punishment, in my opinion. Anyway, that's where we're going to wrap it up today. So here's a quick little one. First little order of business. Tomorrow I will be back with, I'm counting through, it looks like 50 voicemails. So to the anonymous RSB submitter, I will tell you that we will try and do a better job of keeping things on the rails. If you have the same feedback, let me know. If you disagree with that, also let me know. Maybe leave a voicemail. Tomorrow I'll be back with a voicemail episode. And I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Season is back. Go Oilers. I'm pumped. You should be too. Let's go. It is a cup season. I feel it in my bones.
Oh, Captain Felton with your charm. In your uniform, you're looking so fine and so true. Through the high seas and beyond. I'd follow the stars just to be where you are. Oh, I would sail the 7 seas for love. With you, my captain, under skies above.